is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this July 14th. School districts across central Indiana figuring out their plans for the upcoming school year as the COVID-19 outbreak continues. How Indianapolis public schools are addressing parents' concerns about their decision to bring students back to the classroom. Protesters took to the streets last night over the appointment of a new Indianapolis City County Councilor. Why they're upset about Jason Larison's past actions and the process that put him in power. And if you haven't done your taxes yet, you are running out of time. Working for you, the upcoming deadline and what you need to know before you file. But first, we do need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast on this Tuesday. Our Monday forecast is pretty nice. Todd, what can we expect as we head out the door this morning?
You know, it's going to kind of carry over the forecast to today, Lauren, from yesterday. The only difference today going to be a couple degrees warmer later on this afternoon, but the humidity is still going to be low. So what do you need to grab before you go this morning? Well, you definitely need to have the sunglasses handy throughout the day today. Make sure you have the sunscreen with you as well, especially if you're going to be outside for an extended period of time or at the pool, and drink plenty of water, as temperatures will be sneaking up close to 90 degrees later on this afternoon. So if you're thinking about a workout, this morning might be a little bit better than this afternoon. Just temperature-wise, 61 in Bloomington right now, as well as Muncie, 66 in Indy. But look at all these 50s to the north, from Logansport to Marion over to Kokomo at 58 degrees. Skies are clear all across the area. Will warm pretty quickly throughout the day today. Should be into the low 80s by the noon hour, with high temperatures across central Indiana topping off, Lauren, anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're waking up on this Tuesday. Here's I-465 and I-69 up on the northeast side, where traffic's moving along just fine. No crashes, no delays to slow down your Tuesday commute, but of course we'll keep you updated. The return to school is just around the corner for many central Indiana students, and amid the pandemic, many districts are opting for in-person classes, and now they're explaining how they plan to keep students, teachers, and staff safe in the classroom. Indianapolis Public Schools hosted a town hall so that parents could ask questions about the plan for when their kids head back to class. And so our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. And Alyssa, parents had some important questions for the district staff.
That's right, Lauren, and we know that IPS is allowing parents to have their kids opt out of in-classroom learning and do e-learning instead. But for those kids who are heading back to the classroom, parents wanted to know what the district's plan was if a student or a teacher was diagnosed with the COVID-19 virus. Now, IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson says each school will have a COVID response team. They will take down the information and then they'll contact the Marion County Health Department. The district will make any changes or adjustments based on the health department's guidance. This can include things like quarantining those who need to, the communication of the potential for follow-up testing for students and staff members who may have been impacted, and determining when the student or staff member can return to school.
Usually they're required to report to us within 24 hours if they have a positive child or staff person or employee in their premises, and we will be there within 24 hours making recommendations.
IPS announced its safety plan last week. It includes social distancing and mask requirements for students and staff. Classes start on August 3rd, and the deadline to opt out of in-person learning is this coming Friday. The district does ask if you are going to have your kids coming to school, if you're opting for in-classroom learning, that K through 8 students commit to at least a quarter and high school students commit to at least a semester. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. With the new sanitizing guidelines, districts are also looking at changes as to how they clean the school buildings and the buses. Out in Shelby County, Shelby Eastern Schools say that their district has spent a lot of time this summer getting the necessary supplies to reopen in the fall. That includes purchasing things like cleaning supplies, Lysol isopropyl alcohol. And Katrina Falk, the district director of transportation, says that they'll use those cleaners on the buses multiple times a day.
After the morning routes, the buses will be sanitized immediately following when the students are dismissed, and then in the afternoons they'll be sanitized again after the end of the bus routes.
Well, Fox says that they are taking cues from the state officials on how to protect teachers, students, and bus drivers this fall semester. Shelby Eastern Schools are scheduled to begin class August 5th. Indiana has now surpassed 52,000 total cases of COVID-19 in the state. And so here's a look at the latest numbers. The Indiana State Department of Health reporting 452 new cases and 2 new deaths. Marion County continues to have the most cases, reaching more than 12,000. 2,569 Hoosiers have died from the virus so far, and more than 570,000 people have been tested in our state. A popular Indiana beach is being forced to shut down over COVID-19 concerns. Walhalla Beach on Lake Michigan will be closed starting tomorrow by the orders of Mayor Whitting. The mayor says this was a public safety decision, noting the beach was attracting large crowds, making social distancing difficult. The amount of sand is also reduced at the lakes due to the high water levels. Walhalla Beach will remain closed until further notice. A truck driver accused of causing a crash that killed a mother and her young twins is set to be sentenced to 9 years in prison. 58-year-old Bruce Pollard pleaded guilty but mentally ill to 11 charges, including reckless homicide. Investigators say that Pollard slammed into stop traffic in a construction zone on I-465 near the Keystone exit back in July of last year. 29-year-old Alana Coons and her 18-month-old daughters June and Ruby died in the crash. Several other people were injured. An Ohio trucker is now facing 9 felony charges after 4 kids were killed in a crash on I-70 last week. 33-year-old Corey Withrow's charges including 4 counts of reckless homicide. Investigators say that Withrow was under the influence of drugs when the crash happened Thursday out in Wayne County. He reportedly did not stop when approaching slow traffic and crashed into the back of a car, which also caught fire. The driver of the car was pulled to safety, but the 4 kids inside, ranging from ages 6 to 15, were all killed. Some people are not happy with the newest Indianapolis City County Councilor and the process that put him in power.
What do we want? What do we want?
Organizers say this was an act of protest against the recent appointment of Jason Larison to represent District 12. The seat was vacant after Blake Johnson moved to a statewide position. Per Indiana law, such vacancies are filled by a special election of elected and appointed precinct committee people. The critics question that process. Larison also faces some backlash over blogs from more than a decade ago. In some of the posts, he made disparaging comments about immigrants and women.
He has apologized for what he said back then, but I don't believe that people change that much. I mean, I wasn't writing blog posts like that back then. I imagine many other people weren't writing things like that 10 years ago, and I think it rings hollow when it comes to what we expect as a party. Well, I think one option is to get rid of the caucusing model. Another option is to reform the amount of power that county chairs have to appoint and remove precinct committee people.
You can find more on this story right now by visiting our website. Just go to theindychannel.com. It is 5:08. The filing deadline for tax returns is tomorrow, and this comes after the IRS pushed back the deadline in the wake of the COVID-19 outbreak. Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with a financial advisor about the deadline and how you can prepare for next year.
When the pandemic hit, the IRS extended the tax payment deadline 90 days. That means tomorrow is the deadline to pay if you owe. I spoke with John Amatuli of Amatuli & Associates Financial Services. He says if you are still unable to pay when it's due because of the pandemic or any other reason, the IRS can assist you with a payment plan. Although that's not what he recommends because he says the IRS will charge you. Amatuli says while it's easy to think about right now, it's also important to think about next year's tax season.
I recommend the folks to work with a financial professional, a CPA or an advisor to look at, some tax-exempt investments or tax-deferred investments, because as I mentioned earlier, we do feel that tax rates in the future will go up, and if you have those vehicles, that can save you some tax dollars down the road.
Amatuli says if you are able, consider boosting your retirement contributions. You may be eligible for certain tax credits that could help reduce your tax bill on a dollar-for-dollar basis. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you there, Kelsey. Good advice here as approach it. Hard to believe we're July 15 already. Outside right now, we're dealing with quiet conditions. It's a great start to our Tuesday all across the area as temperatures are sitting in the 50s and 60s this morning. A little warmer in the city where the current temperature is 66 degrees. And we'll go down another couple degrees here probably over the next hour or two before we start to see our temperatures climb. 67 at 8 a.m. Skies are completely clear. There's not a cloud out there this morning. Should make for for a beautiful sunrise. And here's where high temperatures are going later on this afternoon. A couple degrees warmer than yesterday. The humidity still low for the day today, with highs that'll be anywhere from about 85 to 90 degrees later on this afternoon. As far as rain chances, no threat of rain in the forecast for the day today, but it'll start to ramp up in the coming days, as you see there. We'll talk more about that in Maine weather in just a few minutes. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Across the country, COVID-19 cases continue to surge, while experts say the new cases are young people and they're becoming more at risk. And as the pandemic continues, insurance companies are making it harder for some people to get their prescriptions. What you can do if your insurance or pharmacy has dropped your medications. And let's take a look at traffic right now over on the west side. This is I-465 near I-74 and Crawfordsville Road. Traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound on 465. As you can see on our camera there, no issues to slow you down. Stick around, it's 5:11. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. It is 5:14. Here's a look right now at traffic. I-65. This is near 82nd Street up on the northwest side, where everything's traveling smoothly, both northbound and southbound. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads for your Tuesday morning commute, but it is smooth sailing right now around the Indy metro area. Well, there are more than 13 million confirmed coronavirus cases worldwide. That's according to Johns Hopkins University. More than a quarter of that total is found right here in the United States, and that percentage is likely to keep rising. John Lawrence explains why more young people are becoming at risk.
A surge in COVID-19 cases has some states taking action. Restrictions on indoor activities are reinstated in New Mexico, Oregon, and California.
The sectors that we're closing statewide, again, restaurants, wineries, movie theaters, family entertainment, zoos, museums, card rooms, and bars, to outdoor activities to the extent possible.
Most U.S. states are seeing new weekly cases rise, and health experts expect that trend to continue.
I don't see how this ends. These numbers will keep going up. We'll go way past 100,000 new cases a day.
Some of these new cases will be from the younger part of the population. Research published this week in the Journal of Adolescent Health says roughly a third of 18 to 25-year-olds are at risk of severe COVID-19.
You go into school, you're going to come in contact with more people. So even if they're transmitting at a lower rate than adults, it may get washed out or increased essentially because they have more contacts.
Amid the crisis, the Trump administration is pushing for schools to reopen this year. Some teachers and parents are concerned.
For the first time in my 17-year career, I'm scared. And I'm not scared because of curriculum. I'm not scared because of changes. I'm scared for my own safety and for my children's safety.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, the pandemic has heightened a problem with prescription medication, with insurance companies dropping medications now more than ever. The graph from the Drug Channels Institute shows CVS Health and Express Scripts are covering fewer each year. The institute says that profits and competing drug companies play a role, but health plans are also making it harder.
Most health plans now actually require you to use a specific network or pharmacies to fill your prescription. If you go outside of that network, your claim can be denied, and your insurer might require you to pay more in terms of a copay or pay in full.
Well, that's why it's important to check if your pharmacy is in your network for coverage and if they dropped a medication you need. Other reasons medicines are getting denied coverage are pharmacies have old insurance information. But even without insurance, you can look at coupon websites like RxSaver or mail orders to save money. With case numbers finally going down in New York, there are some extra steps that visitors may have to take. Starting today, people flying in from a list of 19 states will be required to fill out travel forms. It asks for a contact information and travel plans while you're in New York. So far, Indiana is not on that list. It's a way to enforce that people from the restricted states follow the 14-day quarantine rule. Travelers who leave a New York airport before filling out the form could face a $2,000 fine. As the NBA prepares to resume their season in Orlando, Houston Rockets star Russell Westbrook didn't make the trip. Westbrook posted on social media that he tested positive for COVID-19. Before traveling with the team, he says that he's currently feeling well and he's looking forward to playing as soon as possible. He also asked people to take the virus seriously and to wear a mask. Fellow Rockets star James Harden has not joined the team yet either, but there's no word yet on why. At 5:17, let's check in with Todd and see what we can expect in our Tuesday forecast.
Yeah, Lauren, more above normal temperatures heading our way. Yesterday was actually a couple degrees below the normal of 85 degrees. But as you see here behind me, temperatures will be back above that yellow line, which is the 85-degree mark for the most part. The one exception is on Thursday, and that's because we could have a little more in the way of cloud cover and shower activity that'll be around on that day. But otherwise, temperatures will be running above normal. This morning, it is nice and comfortable, though, as we're in the 50s in some locations, Peru as well as Greenfield at 59, 60 in Richmond, 61 is the current temperature in Bloomington, as well as Bedford and Greencastle currently at 63 degrees. And today, our temperatures will get back up to right around 85 to 90 degrees, depending on where you live. 85 in northern locations. To the south and west, you'll probably get a little closer to that 90-degree number. But overall, it's really another very, very nice day. Not only do we have those seasonal temperatures, we have the sunshine, and the humidity levels today are going to still be right around 60 degrees in that pleasant category. So we're in good shape in that department as well. So enjoy today. If you couldn't get outside yesterday for whatever reason, today another opportunity to do so with the nice weather before things will start to change a bit going forward midweek and then into the weekend. You notice a little unsettled off to our west with showers and storms, and some of that action is going to start to head our way during the day tomorrow, but it doesn't arrive until very late in the day, as we'll see temperatures climb into that 90-degree range tomorrow. We'll start off partly cloudy, eventually turn it mostly cloudy, and then we'll start to bring in the chance of some scattered showers, as you see on TrueCast. But the timing with the showers coming in as the sun is setting will probably reduce our threat of severe weather across the area. So that is going to be good news. But a couple of the storms late Wednesday into Thursday could be on the strong to maybe severe side. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And the Storm Prediction Center does have parts of central Indiana for tomorrow evening under that marginal risk for severe storms. The slight risk is back off to our west a little bit further in Illinois, but that's because the front will be coming through there during the peak heating of the day. So I'm not too concerned about any widespread severe weather Wednesday into Thursday, but again, a couple isolated storms could be strong to possibly severe by the end of the week. We are back up to the 90s. The humidity is going to return as well. And so it's going to become very uncomfortable. So a great start to the week so far, and we'll carry that through today, and then a little more unsettled with temperatures increasing, working our way into the weekend. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic for your commute. This is over on the east side at I-465 and I-70, the interchange there. Traffic is picking up, as you can see, but everything's moving along just fine. No delays right now to slow down your commute. After days of searching, authorities say a body found at a Southern California lake is former Glee actress Naya Rivera. Her body was recovered near the surface of Lake Piru yesterday morning. Investigators say there's no signs of foul play and her death does not appear to be a suicide. She went to the lake last Wednesday afternoon on a pontoon boat with her 4-year-old son. The boy was later found on the boat by himself wearing a life jacket. Well, the Black Lives Matter mural in front of the Trump Tower sparked controversy before it was painted last week, and now it's been vandalized. It happened Monday morning. Police say a white man wearing a black hat and a T-shirt splattered red paint on the letter V in lives before fleeing the scene. When the cars drove over the paint, it spread across the mural. NYPD had to shut down Fifth Avenue to clean up the paint. Mayor Bill de Blasio helped paint the mural last week. President Trump has called the mural a symbol of hate. Companies are reinventing their products to adjust to the coronavirus precautions. That includes Coke machines. A look at the new touchless technology just after the break. And here's a live look at your commute up on the north side, I-465. A view here near Michigan Road where traffic's moving along smoothly, both eastbound and westbound. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. The time right now is 5:25. Here's a live look at I-65 down in Johnson County, Main Street, the Greenwood exit here. You can see traffic is moving along just fine in that area. No crashes or issues to slow down your commute. Keep in mind, if you're traveling in from the south side and you're on Southport Road and you're trying to get on northbound I-65, that ramp system is closed long term for a construction project, so you may need to reroute. Use Emerson Avenue, use County Line Road as detours for that project to get on the interstate. Coca-Cola wants you to still enjoy its Freestyle drink machines without worrying about the coronavirus, so it is releasing a new technology to make pouring beverages without touching it. All you need to do is scan the QR code to your smartphone and choose a drink on the vending machine. The technology was tested over the summer at Wendy's, Five Guys, and Firehouse Subs in Atlanta. Coke says all Freestyle dispensers will be contactless by the end of the year. Pretty creative. All right, Todd, let's get a check of our forecast for our Tuesday. Hoping for another nice day.
Yeah, we're going to have one, Lauren. That is the good news here for us here all across central Indiana. We're going to have the sunshine. The humidity remains low today, and temperatures will start to moderate back up to seasonable levels. Yesterday, actually a couple degrees below normal. 526 looking off towards the east. The sky should start to brighten a little bit sooner, but now that we're past the summer solstice, a sunrise getting a little bit later in the morning, not until about an hour away at 6:29. But once that sun does come up, it should be beautiful across the area with sunny skies and low humidity. Temperatures will warm nice and quick. Should be at 69 degrees already by 9 a.m. with high temperatures today that'll be topping off anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees. Get out there and enjoy.
Getting ready for a new school year, how the Franklin Community School Corporation plans to welcome back thousands of students and teachers. Their plan coming up on RTV6.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30, several central Indiana schools are announcing their reopening plans. Working for you, we're breaking down what you and your student need to know.
And Lauren, many Hoosiers will soon lose extra unemployment benefits that were provided by the CARES Act. This morning, advice from a financial planner on how you can prepare for the big change in your income.
The time right now is 5:30 here on your Tuesday. I want to thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey, joined by Todd Clausen and Rafael Sanchez. Rafael, good morning to you down in Johnson County.
Lauren, good morning to you. Today will be another great day, Lauren, to go over to Todd's garage and borrow either his convertible or his BMW and go on a cruise, because it's going to be perfect in central Indiana. Todd, which vehicle can we borrow today?
I got an old school 10-speed from about 1979 in my garage, Rafael, that you can hop on. I'll just warn you ahead of time, the brakes on it, not that good, so just be a little bit careful. But I wish I had that convertible to put you in, but not in the cards for you, but I do have a 10-speed. All right, outside right now, but you're right. Get outside and enjoy this nice weather for you, as we will be dealing with the sunshine and the low humidity today. Temperatures are in the 60s and 50s this morning, so it's really comfortable in spots. 61 in Bloomington as well as Lafayette, 58 in Peru and Kokomo, 57 in Logansport, Anderson at 59 degrees, and the sky is now starting to brighten as you look off towards the north. Should be a beautiful start to our day. The clouds are still well off to our west. They will not be much of a player here throughout the day. We'll just build in a few fair weather clouds later on this afternoon. 81 degrees by the noon hour with our high temperature today, Lauren, getting up to 87 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic north of the downtown area. I-65, a view here near 30th Street where everything's traveling up to speed. Right now, no crashes to report around the metro area. Great news if you're heading out to start your Tuesday commute. We are, however, following breaking news this morning. The Supreme Court ruling overnight that federal executions can resume. Daniel Lewis Lee had been scheduled to be executed at 4 o'clock Monday afternoon out in Terre Haute, and that was blocked by a district judge who said there are legal issues to solve surrounding a new sedative. Following the Supreme Court's late night ruling, Bureau of Prison officials rescheduled Lee's execution for this morning. Lee's lawyers argue that the execution cannot go forward after midnight under federal regulations.
Lauren, this morning, Indiana State Police are investigating an interstate shooting. Police were called to I-465 West near mile marker 5 on the south side just after 6 o'clock last night. And this is what they had to begin investigating. They believe a person was shot and killed in a road rage incident. The suspect's vehicle is described as a newer model black Chevrolet Impala or Malibu. Police say the victim is from Georgia.
Well, last night's shooting was the second interstate shooting in the Indianapolis area, Raphael, in just 2 days. Sunday, a man was critically injured after being shot on I-465 southbound and Shadeland Avenue near mile marker 43 on the east side. Detectives believe that more than one shot was fired at that vehicle, and this is a look at the damage to the victim's truck. An adult female and a 3-year-old child were also in the truck. They were not hurt. Police say they do not believe that those two shootings are related. They are asking anyone who may have seen something at either of those incidents to please contact Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS.
The summer break will soon end for Central Indiana students. Instead of the usual items, hand sanitizer and face masks are now at the top of school supply lists. Districts are keeping a close eye on the continued spread of COVID-19, but most are moving forward with plans for in-person classes. So, Lauren, in about 20 days, the biggest public school system in Marion County is planning to reopen on August the 3rd.
And we know IPS held a virtual town hall to share its plan to welcome back students and staff to the school. Our Alyssa Donovan joins us this morning with reaction to that plan. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. And parents had, as you imagine, a lot of questions about this plan, not only about the safety of their kids going back to school, but how the e-learning will go if they opt in for that for their students. Now, IPS is allowing parents to have their kids opt out of in-person learning. So for those children not heading back to the classroom, they'll be adjusting to more learning online. Superintendent Alicia Johnson says students who are K through 8 will be able to access the video learning content at whatever time works best for a family during the day. Students will still be assigned to their own schools and still will have a homeroom teacher that will have a relationship with them. This will allow students to contact a specific teacher for help with lessons.
Ensure I sort of got the lesson, to see if I need any additional supports. And then someone from my school, whether that be the social worker, the counselor, whomever, would be checking in with me at least once weekly, just on how I am doing, on my mental health, my emotional health and well-being, how I'm doing as a student.
High school students in remote learning will have specific teachers for each class monitoring their instruction. And the deadline to opt out of in-classroom learning is this coming Friday. For the students that do go back to the classroom, they'll be required to wear masks, and the district is asking that you have some extra masks for your students just in case they lose one of them. They'll also be practicing social distancing in the classroom. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Meanwhile, Perry Township's Board of Education approved the district's reopening plan last night. The semester will start as planned on July 29th. In-person and e-learning options will be available to students. Face coverings must be worn by staff and students in designated areas when social distancing is not possible. Masks will be provided to any school member that needs one. Students enrolled in e-learning will be able to participate in extracurricular activities. Schools will be distributing their individual building plans to the families this week. And Washington Township Schools on Monday was the first Indianapolis district to announce classes will be online and not in school. We are monitoring all the reopening plans, and of course we'll keep you updated on the latest, both on air and online, just as soon as we learn more.
And Lauren, all of those school systems are keeping a close eye on these numbers, turning now to the latest information on COVID-19's impact on our state. And here are the numbers as we have them. The 2 additional COVID-19 deaths were reported on Monday, bringing the total number of Hoosier deaths to 2,569. 452 new positive tests were reported on Monday. More than 52,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. 570,409 people have been tested for COVID-19. About 9% of those tests have come back positive. Let's take a closer look at how our state is handling and prepared at the hospital systems. Health officials say more than 37% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. COVID-19 patients are using about 11% of those beds. Non-COVID-19 patients are using more than 51% of ICU beds, and 83% of the state's ventilators are available. Lauren?
And Raphael, if you received a COVID stimulus check for someone who died, don't worry about returning it. The IRS is now saying those checks have been canceled. It's in its rush to get the checks out to 160 million eligible taxpayers quickly. The Treasury Department relied on previous tax filings. We know some of those people had died between their last filing and when the checks were sent. Many taxpayers also received the one-time payment through direct deposit. Lawmakers are currently considering another payment as the pandemic continues.
So the CARE Act has been giving thousands of Hoosiers an extra $600 in unemployment benefits for the last several weeks. That benefit is set to expire in about 17 days. Our Kelsey Anderson spoke with a financial advisor about the pending change and how you can prepare for it.
If you lost your job because of the pandemic and are currently on unemployment, I spoke to a financial advisor who says the first thing you want to do is start budgeting that money and making sure you're only paying for the necessities. John Amatuli of Amatuli & Associates Financial Services says pay your bills, but then save what you can. If you find you had more money than you thought left over, it doesn't necessarily mean you should pay off a chunk of credit card debt right now or splurge on an item. While that can be tempting, he says, we have to remember we're still in a pandemic and there is a lot of uncertainty around the job market for many people. Instead, he says it might be a good idea to try and hang on to that cash and put it in a savings account.
And I recommend to clients and the folks that try to have a 6-month emergency fund set up, because if things get bad again in the fall, there's money there to make expenses.
He says to remember, if you were hired for another job today, it still might be a week before you start and 3 weeks or more before you receive a paycheck. He says it's important to do what you can to make this extra money today last for when you need it later. I'm Kelsey Anderson, RTV 6.
Kelsey, thank you. And you can now apply to programs created for Indiana residents who need help making rent due to the pandemic. The statewide rental assistance program will provide up to $500 in assistance for 4 months. To be eligible, you must have lost your job or part of your income due to COVID-19. Your current household income, including unemployment, must be less than your household income on March 6th. And you cannot have received rental assistance from another source. For more information, you can go to indianahousingnow.org. And Marion County renters can get help through a different program that offers up to 3 months of rent payments. You must provide income information from February and income or unemployment information since March 1st. In both programs, landlords must agree to participate. Marion County residents can apply at indyrent.org. The time right now is 5:40 on our Tuesday. Let's toss things over to Todd for a check of today's forecast.
And Lauren, it's another good forecast for us here going forward. In fact, this morning, if that's when you choose to get outside for maybe a workout or a walk through the neighborhood, you are in terrific shape as temperatures right now are sitting in the 50s and 60s. The sun is coming up and the humidity is really, really low. But you notice how the temperatures do climb pretty quickly, already into the low 80s by 11 a.m. So that's one thing you can do with lots of sunshine and low humidity. You can cool it off pretty quick, but you can warm it up quick as well. So as we head into the afternoon hours, the pool, great place to be with highs in the mid to upper 80s. Just make sure you remember that sunscreen if you are going to be out there. The UV index is very high. We'll talk more about some changes, which includes the return of the heat, the humidity, and also storms in the forecast coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. The spike in coronavirus cases across the country triggering a new wave of shutdowns in certain hotspots. After the break, we're taking a look at sweeping new restrictions now happening coast to coast. Lauren?
And the Washington Redskins are officially changing their name and logo. Straight ahead, why some are not happy about the move. It is 5:42. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Coronavirus cases are on the rise in at least 39 states, and the nationwide death toll has surpassed 135,000. The spike in new cases is triggering a new round of shutdowns, Raphael, across the country.
And Lauren, this as the World Health Organization warns that if basics are not followed, things will get worse and worse. ABC's Ines La Quintera has more from Washington.
This morning, California slamming its reopening plans into reverse.
Virus is not going away anytime soon.
As COVID-19 sends a record number of patients into California hospitals, the governor shutting down all indoor business across the state, restaurants, bars, theaters, and museums. 1 out of every 100 American has tested positive for the virus. New York's governor now issuing an emergency health order requiring travelers from states impacted by spikes of the virus to quarantine.
If you leave the airport without filling out the information, not only can you have a $2,000 fine, you can then be brought to a hearing and ordered to complete mandatory quarantine.
Florida setting daily records and hospitals running out of space. That state's governor reluctant to reimpose restrictions, now heckled by a protester during his daily press briefing.
Shame on you. You are an embarrassment.
The World Health Organization warning.
If the basics aren't followed, there is only one way this pandemic is going to go. It's going to get worse.
Meanwhile, the nation's top infectious disease expert on Monday warning.
We haven't even begun to see the end of it yet.
But also striking an optimistic tone as he predicted researchers could find successful treatment for the illness by the fall and a vaccine by the end of the year.
So we're pretty cautiously optimistic that at the end of the year, beginning of this coming 2021, we will have one and maybe more, I hope more than one vaccine that would be available.
And as the debate over when and how to reopen schools continues, LA School District, the second largest in the country, announcing they'll only reopen online in the fall. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Washington.
At 5:47, the Chicago Marathon has been canceled due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Event organizers announced that decision on Monday. It's the latest major race to be canceled. The Boston Marathon was scheduled for April 20th, and then it was put off until September before being canceled. The New York City Marathon was scheduled for November 1st. That's also been canceled. Runners registered for the Chicago race will have the option to receive a refund, or they can defer their place and entry fee to a future marathon in 2021, 2022, or 2023. Marathon organizers say that they're working on a virtual experience and they'll release more information at a later date.
This morning, we're still waiting to learn what the new name of the Washington Redskins will be after bending to public and financial pressure. This morning, we're hearing from the Navajo Nation. They released this statement saying, quote, "We strongly encourage the NFL Washington organization to rename their team in such a way that truly honors and respects the first Americans of this country." But not everyone is happy about the pending change. Specifically, some members of the Blackfeet tribe, which designed the logo back in 1971. In response to the announcement, one member said, while everyone understands the name change, the logo, in their opinion, is not offensive, but rather evokes a sense of pride. Time now to check your forecast. And Todd Clawson, listen, my AC went out, so I'm so happy that for a second day, you can say, hopefully, it's going to be a cool day until the repairman can arrive.
Yeah, you know, it's cool this morning, so it's at least good sleeping weather. But by this afternoon, Raphael, it will start to heat up. Mine went out the other day, and all I had to do was go in and flip the circuit breaker. So I hope yours is a minor fix as well, because the heat and humidity really going to build in as we work our way into the latter half of this week. This morning, look at this beautiful sunrise that's taking place from downtown to the north. There is not a cloud in the sky, and that's the way it's going to stay, at least for the first half of the day. And then we'll start to build in those fair weather clouds just like we did yesterday. 61 in Bloomington and Bedford, some 50s out there, though, in Greenfield as well as Peru. 58 there in Miami County, 60 in Tipton, 61 is the current temperature in Lafayette, and Richmond's currently at 60 degrees throughout the day today. It'll be beautiful outside, 80 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour with high temperatures today. In the city, probably getting up to 87 degrees. I wouldn't be shocked if some locations off to the west or down to the south get up to that 90-degree mark later on today for your high temperature. Then this evening, as the sun starts to set, we should be able to cool it off very, very very quickly. But all in all, another terrific day. The only real difference between yesterday, our highs today will be a couple degrees warmer. Satellite radar picture is pretty quiet here locally. And as you expand out, you notice some clouds off to our west. And then there's also quite a bit of storm action that's taking place in the Dakotas down into parts of Kansas. This is their second day in a row of some severe weather. And eventually that's going to start to make its way into our area. But it's going to time out well in the sense that by the time the front gets to us tomorrow night, it is going to be coming in during the nighttime hours, so the storms likely will not be as strong as they will be off to our west during the day tomorrow. This evening, as I mentioned, sunset is at 9:12. It will be in the 80s till about sunset, and then we'll fall into the 70s. Tomorrow, we start off sunny, but then the clouds will start to increase, and by 10 p.m., we're bringing in those rain chances. So the daytime hours tomorrow should be fairly dry with high temperatures. That'll be right around 90 degrees, and here is that front that is heading our way. Again, it will be weakening as it arrives, but I do think there still will be the opportunity for maybe an isolated stronger storm. I don't think we're looking at anything widespread across the area, but there's still, the 48 hours to go before that arrives in many locations. So time to fine-tune that for you as we get a little bit closer. Enjoy today before we have to worry about those storm chances. Then look at the end of the week, Friday all the way into Monday of next week. High temperatures back into the mid-90s with the humidity coming up as well, and also the chance of those daily pop-up storms. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is over on the west side of town at I-465 near the Sam Jones Expressway, where everything is moving along up to speed. No crashes or delays to slow down your commute on this Tuesday.
New York Supreme Court has cleared President Trump's niece, Mary, to promote her tell-all book about him. Now, that book is entitled Too Much, Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. Mary Trump's book comes out today, and it's already on top of Amazon's bestseller list. Her uncle, Robert Trump, who is the president's brother, previously filed a motion to block that book, saying it violated a confidentiality agreement. A court dismissed that motion, but a temporary restraining order remained, keeping Mary from promoting it. That order is now lifted, paving the way for her to freely discuss and promote the book.
Old Raphael whiskey is usually aged in wooden barrels, but now Johnny Walker is serving up its scotch in bottles also made from wood. The brand's parent company, Diageo, says the new bottle made of wood pulp will be released in 2021. It's 100% plastic-free and it's expected to be fully recyclable. The move is an effort to increase sustainability. Other companies are also joining in, including Unilever and PepsiCo. Both are expected to launch their own branded paper bottles in the next year.
I am all in, and don't forget to drink responsibly, even at 5:53 in the morning. Talk about a guitar hero coming up. How one man is bringing joy to the streets of Atlanta with his unique skills and, of course, his talents. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here as we jam on RTV6.
Welcome back. A guitar-playing skateboarder is bringing smiles to Atlanta as it deals with the coronavirus pandemic and ongoing racial equality protests. We want you to meet Chavez Flag.
So let's check out his work. He plays everything from Prince to Jimi Hendrix. His videos have circulated, Lauren, around TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, garnering him millions of views and plenty of tips. And Todd Clausen, today would be a great day to just head outdoors and do your best air guitar, because the weather will be perfect.
Yeah, and for me, it would be the air guitar, Raphael, because that's about all I can play. But that guy, he's got some talent there to stay on the skateboard and play. Whether you're hitting the Monon, the Beeline Trail, or the Fall Creek Trail, or some of the other ones across central Indiana, you're in great shape today with lots of sunshine and temperatures that are very comfortable. 50s and 60s right now. Highs going up to 87 degrees later on this afternoon, but the humidity throughout the day today remains very, very low. We'll talk more about your extended forecast and have the latest news headlines coming up at the top of the hour when Good Morning Indiana continues.